Hi, Claire. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We were just talking off camera about how I'm in the middle of a tornado watch, so anything could happen right now. Hopefully, I'll be safe for 25 minutes while we get through this. But
So if Claire just blows away,
yeah,
if she's at Oz,
yes,
I'd have to do this by myself.
yeah. You'd have to find the equivalent of the yellow brick. Right.
And me sitting there droning on.
How long do you think it would take you to notice that I was gone without the video?
Oh, I'd notice immediately. There would be just suddenly.
Yeah, it'd be like a white noise machine or like the crackly screen that you see on a VHS player.
Yeah, I keep thinking of it as the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And the scene where Dorothy is kind of up there blown away.
Well, that's me. My son is really, really into The Wizard of Oz right now, like the actual book by Baum, which is really different from the movie. I had no idea. It's really, really dark, and we have to kind of like paraphrase some of the parts because he's, little. It's a weird book. Anyways.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a really great book.
Yeah. Well, we have really weird weather here. Jacqueline, I think, is on the West Coast, so she's hopefully having bright, sunny weather, which is what I wish we had. But I'll be playing her this week and taking us through the headlines and then bantering with you. I hope I can remember how to do this. It's been a while.
Oh, fantastic! I'll do my part, and
okay.
I can't control what happens, what you do.
Right. I'll take us through the headlines from last week. The cover story was a Q&A between Paul Goldberg and Breakthrough Cancer's president, Tyler Jacks. And he spoke with the Cancer Letter about the foundation's kind of new operating model for collaborative cancer research which they call radical collaboration. And then we had two stories about FDA's Vinay Prasad, which we will talk about in today's podcast. We had a guest editorial by Karen Knudsen entitled, "As More People Are Surviving Cancer, We Must Continue Funding Bold Science." And I think that headline kind of speaks for itself. And then we had an interesting story for our Cancer History Project written by Robert Peter Gale on the history of poisons and high-profile poisonings and what they have to do with cancer and cancer science. And then we had two stories in cancer policy. Sarah wrote about the third postponement of the USPSTF task force meeting. And I wrote about FDA's official approval of leucovorin for cerebral folate deficiency, something that's been in the works for a few months. But today we're going to talk about perhaps the most polarizing figure in U.S. medicine right now, who we've talked about on the podcast before, probably will again. But Vinay Prasad is set to officially leave FDA at the end of March, following weeks of controversy and criticisms, this time specifically around drug approvals. So I wrote a story about his departure. Jacqueline wrote a story, kind of adjacent story about an ultra rare disease drug that was rejected. So I guess we can kind of start with the context, Paul, unless you have anything you wanted to say off the bat about Vinay.
Well, off the bat, sure.
Yeah.
He is polarizing for sure. It's interesting to me what he's going to do next, where he's going to go. I think he's coming back to UCSF, or so it seems. And weirdly, Makary, Commissioner Makary, said that he was on a sabbatical, a one-year sabbatical at UCSF. Is that really true? I don't know. I've never heard of sabbaticals like this.
Right.
Usually when people join the government, they quit their previous jobs.
Right.
Maybe they're brought back in, maybe not. I think we better ask and find out what his employment status is. I have no idea, by the way.
Right.
It could well be, but if it is a sabbatical, it will be the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told us that he's going to stay there for a year.
Yeah.
So in a way, I have no idea what's going on.
It could mean anything. It
would be nice to find out.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, just reflecting on, this podcast and what was interesting to me about Vinay Prasad, who we've been covering, since the beginning for a year now. And, for a while there, I felt like every week or, every couple of weeks, he'd be like, who's mad at Vinay this week? And it feels like this past month or two, the question's been more, who is maddest at Vinay this week? Because, right now, drug companies are mad. Rare disease patients and advocates are mad. And now Congress people are mad. which is, it's a lot of mad people. And I think when you've united, pharma, Congress, and patients, that's almost impressive.
The right and the left and the business interest.
Right.
Patient interest.
Bipartisan ire.
Yeah, he's bringing this country together.
He is. It's funny.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I've been covering him forever.
Right.
And it's, yeah. What was really interesting in your story, well, there's a lot of interesting stuff in your story. It was also interesting. Maybe we should actually start with Jacqueline's story.
Sure.
What happened with that drug that was going towards full approval, or full accelerated approval, toward approval, and then boom, no.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time that Vinay has kind of stepped in at the last second, right? And rejected a drug approval, or just come in and said, issued a refusal to file letter, like happened with Moderna's flu vaccine a couple of weeks ago. And this was a drug or a therapy for an ultra rare form of lymphoma. On January 9, Pierre Fabre Pharmaceuticals received a complete response letter from FDA telling it that its application for T-cell therapy, tabelecleucel, or Ebvallo, was being rejected. The agency was now calling for a randomized control trial, which in my understanding is kind of an unfeasible ask for such a small sample. And it's, I guess I can talk a little bit more about the implications and like what Prasad is doing and why, this is kind of an example of this happening in oncology, hematology, but it's emblematic of what he's been doing at large, which is kind of moving the goalpost, it seems, when he sees fit. And it seems like, a lot of these sponsors, pharmaceutical companies, are not only confused by what the expectations actually are, but believe that they are in full compliance, and then they kind of get this whiplash from Prasad.
Well, we don't know it's Prasad again. We think it certainly is consistent with what he thinks,
right,
and how he thinks, because he's always asking for randomized controlled trials, which are wonderful. Don't get me wrong; that is the gold standard. But in some cases, you just can't have them. Like an ultra rare disease, and then suddenly, boom! In this ultra rare disease, there's this demand for that's a kick in the teeth. Right.
And the reason you can't have it is because there's no incentives for industry investment, right?
No, because there aren't enough patients. Well, you can talk about incentives, but let's just start about feasibility.
Right.
It's also just, why are you going to ask for this? It's not possible to do this. It will take you 100 years to do that kind of a randomized trial. You're not going to get any patients either. Right. It's really rare.
And isn't it a bit contradictory? Prasad and Makary Prasad's, one of his babies over this past year has been the priority review voucher program. How is that different from accelerated approval? Is this, is it?
Oh, it's completely parallel.
Yeah.
It's a separate structure. Parallel to,
So these decisions are, are they arbitrary? Only Prasad knows, what the criteria are from week to week, or what's your understanding based on this example?
Well, based on what I can tell, nobody knows who knows.
Okay. Right.
It's not interpretable.
Okay.
So what the policies are that FDA now has,
I see.
I can only speak for myself here, but I have no idea what the standards are. It's a very interesting thing to see what.
Yeah.
My bet, and again, this is kind of the beauty of a podcast. You can bet is that I think we may have heard from the industry finally.
Yeah. Okay.
Because and the patients groups.
Right.
Speaking in exactly the right way that the patient groups and the industry should be speaking, which is for their own interests.
Right.
And each other's interests as well. So you cannot do this.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I cannot interpret this. Nobody can interpret even this N of 1 approvals versus on the one hand, and then on the other hand, there is Vinay Prasad calling for randomized controlled trials
Right.
in an ultra rare indication.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that were the standard, there would be no childhood cancer drugs because,
Right.
the
Right.
beauty of the only good thing and fair thing in the world is that childhood cancer is rare.
Right. Right.
That's a good thing.
Right.
So you can't have that. But in this case, it's like, why? What?
Yeah.
How does that square with everything else? And then, of course, there's still this mystery of all of these dead children or dead people from COVID vaccine that Vinay found, but no one else can.
Right.
Found them in the database.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, which was another, long on the laundry list of things that upset people about Prasad. That was just one of many. But
yeah.
But I mean, I guess I'd like to go back to what happened last week with Prasad, but just kind of from an outsider, just from an outsider perspective, I thought the story that Jacqueline wrote was so interesting and intriguing, and has so many implications, but really kind of raises these I guess existential questions, at least for me, because I'm not in it, from my understanding, if FDA approves a bad drug, people say you endangered patients. And if you rejected a drug that might work, people say that you killed hope, which sounds like a very tough job to be. I mean, being a regulator just sounds like you're never going to make everyone happy, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So that was just kind of something that I was reflecting on reading her story. And then, but yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about what happened with Prasad, because it was a very public, once again, all this, everything that happens in this agency kind of plays out publicly on X or Twitter these days. So you can kind of watch it unfold. But
you won't understand what's transpiring by looking at X and Twitter very well. The way I was able to understand it for the past 25 years, 26 years, has been by following what the FDA Oncology Division has been doing, the oncology unit, because the objective there was to make regulatory science follow science in cancer.
Right.
And a lot of doors were open that were previously closed.
Right.
And you can understand why the agency, or why you can see the agency trying to behave rationally. Mm-hmm. And when a regulatory agency behaves rationally, an industry can make money. You know what the standards are. Mm-hmm. Now, the mainstream of oncology is what I'm talking about. And under Pazdur's leadership, Richard Pazdur's leadership, FDA was heading in the direction of behaving rationally in the same way as the mainstream of oncology.
Right.
So then they take someone who is really an outlier in oncology. He really is kind of like an N of 1, Vinay Prasad, and basically try to integrate him or make him the chief scientific and chief medical officer over a regulatory agency, and that's like that's like sticking a finger in the eye.
Right.
And the result now is that we have no idea why I never understood why he's in. I never understood what he was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And now I don't understand what it means that he's out. And you know what? We understand everything there is because there's nothing to understand.
Right.
It's
unprecedented. To bring back a COVID word.
Lovely word. We keep hearing that word. But really, we can whine about it. The good news is that now there is an opportunity to bring in someone who is going to bring in stability and right the ship. The ship's not doing so well.
Right.
I'm also kind of finding, he was Makary's protege in many ways. Makary really saw him as one of the great scientific minds of our generation.
Right.
And right now, I'm seeing in your story that a couple of people who are now political appointees reporting to Makary are actually also reporting to HHS Secretary Kennedy. So does that mean that Makary is days are numbered, or does it mean that he is more tightly handled?
Right.
I mean, that's hard to judge right now.
Right. Makary did say that there will be a successor named before Vinay is officially done, at the end of this month. So I'm curious if that new successor will hold all three titles that, because Vinay amassed 3 jobs over his year at the agency, which has never happened before, right?
Yeah. None of these jobs there's no reason to combine these jobs.
Right. Other than centralization.
I don't know other than, there's no reason. As far as that, I don't know what else there could be.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
So we have an interesting thing to be watching, but it's also, it's an opportunity to right the ship, and this administration, I hope, is hearing that it's essential to right the ship.
Yeah.
And also look at, you don't have to have a renegade. You don't have to have an outlier to do things well, like National Cancer Institute. If you were to think, if we were to think of NCI, the NCI director, Tony Latai, is a very mainstream, and by mainstream, I mean respected scientist.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens.
So maybe it's an opportunity to bring in a respected scientist and somebody who understands clinical research and somebody who understands basic research and somebody who understands regulatory science and somebody who has who is not trying to enact their own sort of view of the world.
Right.
Maybe somebody who doesn't have a blog.
Right. Cyber iconoclast.
Yeah.
Substack.
Yeah. Maybe that should be, if I were choosing someone to replace Dr. Prasad, I would choose someone who who is a Luddite and doesn't have any social media presence.
Right.
That would be my.
Yeah.
That
would be a wise pivot.
Goldberg, the Goldberg rule.
That's funny.
But nobody is asking me.
No.
Nobody ever has. Not even my children.
Oh, Paul. I've asked you for advice. The advice is different, I guess.
I don't remember what it was. I remember what it was.
Me neither.
I don't even know if it's true, but yeah.
For the record, if I think of it, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, please text me. All right.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Paul. I've been the Prasad kind of reporter beat this past year, which has been fun. And we'll be watching this closely.
I don't think it's over.
I don't think it's over either. Nothing really ever is with this administration. But super interesting. Thanks for talking. See you next week.
Thank you. And this is a great time to be a journalist.
Always is.
Yep.